Doris, You Darling Bus, episode number 8. G'day folks and welcome to Doris, You Darling Bus, a fortnightly podcast about that unsung hero of the music industry, the tour bus. I'm your host, my name is Jono Zilber, and today's guest is the lead singer and guitarist of popular three-piece blues and rock band 1920, all the way from the south coast of New South Wales, Kane Dennelly. Kane, thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
We're here in sunny Carolla, and I've caught you on a day off on tour. Mm-hmm. So how's the tour been so far?
Awesome. It's been 3 and a bit months. So we're on the road for this one for nearly 5.5. Mm-hmm. Yeah, thereabouts. I don't know, the dates are rolling into each other. But no, it's been awesome.
Yeah.
And we end up at places like this, sunny, beautiful Caloundra.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Hey, I want to go back right to the start. Mm-hmm. The very first time I saw you was at Goulburn Blues Festival.
Yes.
The Fatty and Skinny band.
World famous. Yeah. Cut down in our prime.
Which was you and your brother?
Yes.
And you would have been, what, 16, 17 years old?
I think I was even younger. I think I was probably 14 or 15.
Wow.
I think, yeah. Yeah, pretty young, fresh.
Yeah. It's funny because I remember seeing you at the Goulburn Blues Festival with your brother, and your band name confused my dad because I think your brother threw out a line saying, I'm skinny.
Yes.
And my dad from then on had this thing in his head that was like your actual nicknames, that you were Fatty and he was Skinny. And then I saw you another time at Thredbo Blues Festival. Yeah. And I went back home and I was like, oh yeah, I saw Kane, from the Fatty and Skinny band. He's like, oh, which one's he again? It's like the younger one, like the skinny one. It's like, oh, the one who played the flute. Like, no,
that's Fatty.
No, the other one. It's very confusing.
No, Heath had a few issues with his body. No, he that was just us. We've always approached music with humour ever since then. Yeah. Because you can't take it too seriously. So as I said, we were world famous in Goulburn. We were pretty well known inside our own household. Even Grandma knew who we were, so that was cool. But yeah, that's where it all started. That was the first band.
Tell me about your first car.
My first car, this is a great one. I had first actual car that was allowed on the road.
Okay, we'll come back to the other one.
Yeah. So the first car was a Toyota Carolla C-Car, like the sports edition.
Cool.
86 model, hatchback. Uh-huh. And because I'm a musician, I shouldn't generalise, but a lot of us don't think about cars. We just think about music and guitars. Yeah. And so I had this car, and I bought it for $500. Had 3 months rego. I thought it was awesome. It was great. We called it the Red Rocket until it kept overheating, and so I just figured, being the mechanic that I am, it'll sort itself out.
Right.
Which it did by blowing its head gasket.
Okay.
And so it was a bit, it cost, I still remember, it cost $1,300 to repair. Mm-hmm. And then in the end, after 6 months after that, it got picked up by the wreckers. Yeah. So that was the first tour bus.
So you mentioned that musicians perhaps think more about music gear than actual reliable cars, but that's not a very big car. No. So at the time, I was only playing guitar and singing. Okay. So I had enough room for a couple of guitars. So funnily enough, that was the first guitar that was stolen from me was out of that car. Mm-hmm. There's pretty much, there's no security in those things. So. No. And I did the idiot thing of leaving the guitar in the car overnight. Mm. Dumb. And then, so that's the memories from that car. Yeah, right. And you said the first guitar you've had stolen. Mm. I had another one that was given to me on my 18th birthday. A guy broke into our house. Actually, no, sorry, it was where I was teaching. I was teaching at this place, and I thought it was safe, but they broke in and and stole it. Okay, so from the Carolla, time to buy a new car. Where do you go from there? Where did I go from there? I had, actually, funnily, I just remembered about the Carolla. There was one day, I had to drive to work. I used to work at a guitar store, and it was raining, and the windscreen wipers didn't work. Okay. So I dead set put guitar strings on each windscreen wiper through the windows. This is 100% true. 30 minutes I drove with my knees doing this. For the people listening, I'm doing like a sort of marionette dance. Yeah, pretty much a marionette dance for 30 minutes to Kiama. That's amazing. I lived in Wollongong at the time. That is some serious problem solving. That's
well, I had to get to work. You know, I needed guitar strings to play, let alone use as windscreen wipers. So from there, I think I had maybe a Mitsubishi Star Wagon.
Okay.
Which was the first van I ever owned.
Right.
Fantastic machine. 4-cylinder, 1.8 litre, I think, something like really small. It weighed about 16,000 tonnes and I used to get about 380 Ks out of a tank. So it was...
Very efficient.
Yeah, very efficient. Exactly. And I could probably run faster.
Yeah.
But it did the job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had you had this van by now, 1920?
I had. So we actually, with that car, we drove around Australia twice. Mm-hmm. Before that van... I didn't have a car, but the guy who I started 1920 with had a Toyota Camry. Mm-hmm. So that was one of the tour cars, I guess. Then we had a head-on collision in that, totaled it while on the road, and then we got a new one. And then, the next car I owned was the Star Wagon.
Yeah. And did you have it sort of fitted out, all the gear in the back and then just seats, or you...
We just ripped the seats out to cut the weight down and then left a bit of space to sleep in and then put the gear around that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you slept in it?
Yes, 100%. Or on the side of the road in a two-man tent.
Yeah.
But that's how we got around Australia for years.
Yeah. Other than the head-on in the Camry, any other sort of close calls?
Not at all. The only other really interesting one was when we were on the Nullarbor, we were following a caravan, the Grey Nomad thing, and we were following them. And then we saw them get off the road really quick and pull to the left. And there was a lot of dust, and it turns out there was a flock of emus going across the highway, dozens of them, and then a road train just came and ploughed through it.
Oh, jeez.
And we had to get out of his way too. It was just this... If we didn't get off, we would have been smashed, like the emus. But it was just this weird moment in the middle of nowhere. There's emus, there's trucks, there's...
Just a moment of chaos amongst hours of boredom.
What the hell's going on? Yeah. Just kept on our merry way.
I remember the first time I ever saw emus in the wild, and I'd never, ever considered that they exist in the wild.
Yeah.
Because you see pictures of them and you see them at the zoo and whatnot. And I was driving across the hay plains, so not too dissimilar. Just hours and hours of straight road and grass. And then I saw something move out the corner of my eye. And you just sort of you get startled by something moving. And it was these two emus running alongside the road on my right-hand side. And I looked at them and it took me a good, 5 or 6 seconds. I'm looking at these things going, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
It's the most bizarre thing I've ever seen, these emus running. I was
It is. It's such an iconic image that we've seen pretty much every day of our lives since we were born, the emblem and all that sort of stuff. And when you see them in the wild, they're totally different to at the zoo.
And you just don't expect it. And they're quick as well.
They are, yeah.
And big. Quick. So, I can imagine if you plowed into a flock of them.
Yeah, so it was not only seeing the emus, a road train coming at us, it was like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
Within seconds it was over and off we went. Kept driving.
So how'd you go with the van across the Nullarbor? Because I did one of these podcasts with Rob Sawyer, who of course rode his bike across the Nullarbor.
That's dumb. People invented cars for that.
It's not my idea of a great time, but he managed it, he and his mate. But that's the thing, even in a car, it's a hell of a task. And if you're in a van that's only doing 300 odd Ks to a tank, did it take much planning?
No, we just had to stop every time there was a fuel station.
Yeah.
And it was a beautiful way to do it though. So we'd stop, and if we did sleep, I've done it 4 times. Sometimes we just drive straight through. But there was one time we stopped and we just pulled off and slept under the stars. So it was really, and there's just nothing. If you're out there, it's such a beautiful, peaceful place, and then it comes alive when it's nighttime.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So you just have to stop.
Yeah.
Just every time. One of the first times we did it in Jason's Toyota Camry, we had to, the regulator was faulty, so every time we stopped, we had to every time the battery light came on, we had to hit the alternator with the hammer. So we were stopping every 50 Ks or 100 Ks across the Nullarbor, hitting the friggin' engine with a hammer.
That's some good bush mechanics.
Yeah, totally. Well, his old man was a mechanic, so we rang him when we got to one of the road stops on a payphone, and we're like, what can we do? He's like, hit it with a hammer and tell me what happens. And it fixed it till we got it to an actual mechanic.
He was probably joking too.
Yeah.
These idiots, they don't know what to do.
Yeah, so that's just what you do on the road. Gaff wouldn't fix that, unfortunately.
There's not many things that Gaff wouldn't fix.
That's right.
But,
regulators on an engine. Yeah.
Tell me about the car you're touring in now.
Well, so when the Star Wagon, I sold it to my dad for $500. When that was so rusted out that I couldn't do anything with it except sell it to my dad, I bought a brand new van, a Toyota, no, not a Toyota, that's what I'm looking at now, a Hyundai iLoad, a brand new one. It was amazing. Mm-hmm. It is amazing. It was beautifully clean for the first 6 weeks, and ever since it's probably got the cure for some sort of weird disease embedded in the floor.
Right.
But it's been super reliable. And it's funny because during the week it's the dad van.
Yep.
And then when the boys turn up, I've got to take the car seats out. Mm-hmm. And then when I get back home on a Monday, I've got to basically hose the whole car down.
Yeah.
Inside, I mean.
Yeah, I don't want your kids
catching.
Hanging out. And
Who knows? Who knows what they'll catch?
Yeah.
But no, I clean it all out. But yeah, that's the current car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, why do they call it an iLoad?
I have no idea.
See, that sounds to me like it's fraught with copyright trademark issues.
They call it the passenger version IMAX. And as one
again, another, like, I feel like there's probably some people who might sue them over that one.
Well, that's true. All their cars have got I in it, but my mate said he bought an IMAX, and to christen it, he had a climax in the IMAX.
Oh, Jesus.
So there you go. There's the dad joke for today. I'm not sure that's on their promo. It might be.
Maybe.
You have a climax in the IMAX.
Maybe pitch it to them.
And I'm not sure what would work with load. Actually, I do.
We might leave that one there. Kane, where can we find you and 1920?
1920music.com, Facebook, just search 19 as a number, 20 as a word. Instagram, find us in the gutter using a goon bag as a pillow. That's generally a place you'll find us. In the Centrelink lineup, we're also there. Sometimes at the beach, when Centrelink's closed, which is Sundays these days. Europe's hard too. Like we did it last year in May, and we were so jet lagged. We landed, and then you're driving on the opposite side of the road with a left-hand drive and shifting with your right hand because they don't have many autos over there, and it was insane.
You're learning a few different things at once.
Oh, totally. And then through Amsterdam, there's cars, there's trams, there's bikes. It was hectic. But yeah.
Well, tell me more about driving around Europe.
It was hell.
Yeah.
But beautiful, but in the cities was just insane.
Yeah.
We finally got we were only there for 2 weeks. We got the hang of it, but the Autobahn was really crazy. We were in a brand new van and we were going 150 and there was just cars just out of nowhere. And they get the shits if you're in the wrong lane.
Yeah.
Big time. So,
you don't want to mess with the German
Germans?
Things.
Yeah. No. So, yeah, no, it was cool. It was just very the opposite way of the way we drive here. Yeah. So if you're jet lagged, it was pretty interesting. We had 12 gigs in 14 days.
It's quite an effort.
Yeah.
Quite an effort.
Yeah, and then we flew home. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So you just sort of rocked up with a bunch of guitars and picked up a hire van and away we go.
Yeah, so there's a company over there that do backline and van hire as one. They pick you up from the airport. You can choose 2 different guitar amps, drum kits. They've got a whole warehouse. You just go through and say, I want that. And the van.
That's awesome.
It was so good. Yeah.
That's really, really cool.
Yeah, just makes it so much easier.
Yeah.
And they were all great English speakers, so it's just, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it must be, I mean, you hear a lot of people going from, the US or Australia over and touring Europe. It seems obvious to hire out a backline and a van together.
Yeah.
Instead of, certainly the way that I've done it. I remember Nick and I, when we went and did a gig over in Perth, we did a festival in Perth, and we ended up driving like an hour south to pick up a drum kit and then half an hour north to pick up a guitar amp as well as the hire car, from the airport and whatnot. But if you can just rock up and...
Totally, all there and the pick of everything. Because you're tired after flying regardless, especially Perth. That's 5 hours or 4.5 or whatever it is. You don't want to dick about. You just want to, get to
And how do you go with a schedule like that when you're as jet lagged as you are?
Well, it's interesting. Even the 3 hours going to Perth during daylight savings, it screws up your meal times. And I think if you're having dinner at 3 o'clock over there, which is our 6 here, it sort of messes you. Yeah. And for only a weekend, it's really hard. So we get jet lagged going to Perth.
Yeah.
Because we're only there for a weekend.
Yeah.
But we just tried, when we did the Europe thing, just set our clocks to their time and just lived by that, stayed up for 12 hours and it kind of worked, but I don't know if there's really a way to beat it.
No.
I don't know.
Other than giving yourself time, I guess. But if you're doing 12 dates
we didn't have time.
14 days.
We had half a day when we landed, and then first gig was the next day.
It's extreme. It's extreme. So with the three of you in the van as it is now, how do you decide who plays the music?
That's interesting. We don't listen to a lot of music, which is interesting. We listen to podcasts. And if we are listening,
I know a great podcast.
Yeah, we will now. We'll definitely listen to this. I'll make them listen to it, jerks. So we do like Spotify Wheel of Fortune. So basically, we just take turns. So and you have to listen to the end of the song, no matter how terrible you may think it is.
Right.
Yeah. Which I actually do with my kids now, just to stop them from fighting.
Yeah.
Whoever's in the car first gets first choice, and then we go around the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's much the same having kids in the car and other musicians. And
it is exactly the same. Some would say worse. I wouldn't say that. So John, our bass player, he loves watching pedal videos. So we'll be like, we'll be just driving, all of a sudden we hear this freaking big muff fucking sound coming. It's like, and they're like, oh, it's like true bypass. Oh, it's like tube tone. It's like all that sort of shit. Johnny loves that. He's got a million pedals. So that's what he does. Sid's a bit of a book / looking at the news sort of type on the phone. What do? I do all the managing side of things. So we've got an agent who books us, so I do all the back end stuff. So a lot of the time I'm doing that. Sometimes it's just silent. Other times we're talking about being philosophical about life. And now that we're older, it's not all about boobs and beer.
Yeah.
There's still an element of that, let's be honest. But it's, there's a bit more substance to it, I think.
But that's an interesting point where you can get to a point with two other blokes where you can sit and enjoy a comfortable silence.
Totally. And I think we really relish the silence. There is power in silence.
Yeah.
And we're so comfortable with each other that it just works. And it's very rare that you get that in a band, Sometimes there's an outlier. And I think having a three-piece really helps. There's an odd number, so there's no... there's no sort of teaming up or
there's no clicks.
There's no clicks.
Yeah. No, I definitely get that because I've toured with other individuals and I've toured with as a three-piece as well, and I've always found that three was... Because if one person's got the shits, then you can kind of ignore them and talk to the other one and, so, it's an interesting dynamic in three, I think.
Yes.
What makes a good person to tour with? Or what makes a person good to tour with?
Yeah, I mean, I've done tours with people that aren't good, and now we're touring them. It just works. It's awesome. Being on time. It's like, even if you're hungover as a bastard, even if you didn't sleep, be here at this time.
Yeah.
Because otherwise the whole thing just drags. Checking into the airport, all that sort of shit. Reliability, I guess that comes with being on time, but... and being focused together too. We're all focused on the same goal, so it just works.
Yeah.
And we all know our roles, like any business. If you know your roles, then it flows, and we know where we sit with everything. John's our designated driver because Sid and I like to drink at the gig. That's his role because he doesn't. Good person for sure. And just being able to have that silence. Yeah. Definitely.
You think it's more important to be a good musician or someone you can work with, someone like that who you can spend hours?
Yeah. Well, the guys in the band are terrible musicians. So it's so important. I see some incredible bands and you can just tell they don't like each other. You see it on stage. They've just got shit going on and you just see it. But no, you've got to get along. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just lucky that these guys are phenomenal. And we all just get along. Yeah.
And like you said, you can see that on stage when you guys play. You have a chemistry where the three of you are you're there together rather than three people playing a song.
Yeah. It's a hard life and you're in it together and no one knows what you're going through except the dude next to you on stage.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned having kids. How do you balance life on the road with having a family?
We're so lucky that we've got... we're in a position now where we can fly everywhere. So So I've got my kids Monday to Thursday and then they're with their mum outside of that. And I work Thursday nights. I run a little open mic and then we hit the road either Thursday night or Friday. Yeah. And we're home Monday lunchtime every weekend.
Yeah, cool.
So, we're home way more than we are away. which is awesome.
It's a good position to be in, and I guess
it's awesome.
Your location also helps that as well.
It does. Yeah, we're 3 hours south of Sydney Airport, but it's cool. It's a nice little spot. Mm-hmm. We're in between Canberra and Sydney Airport, so we could fly from either. Yeah.
Yeah, that works a treat.
Yeah.
Was that always your intention when you were getting into music?
I didn't really know what I wanted from it, but everyone in my life is, I was telling a cafe owner just earlier, everyone in my life is in my life because of music. Mm. We wouldn't be having this conversation if it wasn't for music. Yeah, true. You know? It's given me everything, and I don't know where we'll be in the future, and I just think if I can make a living and sustain it, that's all I want. Yeah. Yeah. I've done the 9 to 5 gig. Mm-hmm. I've managed retail stores. I did all that, and it was fun and okay, but it didn't fulfill me like this does. Mm. Mm.
Was travelling always what you wanted?
Yeah, I guess it's just what you have to do in this country. And I love it. I love travelling. I love sleeping under the stars. I love being at an airport, hanging at the lounge, free beers. Just the whole process is not stressful at all for me. Get me in a van and it's like I'm home. Mm-hmm. You know, and with travelling around with your 2 best mates, it's the best.
Yeah, cool.
So good.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah. Do you get to play much with your brother still?
He turns up for the awesome gigs. So he does 2 gigs with us a year. So that's a festival in WA called Bridgetown and the National Folk in Canberra. Mm-hmm. They're 2 amazing gigs for us, and he turns up for those. And if we've got anything that's on the weekend, so Saturday, Sunday, he'll turn up. Yeah, if he can.
So he's a fly-in, fly-out.
Yeah, he's the fly-flow worker, and it's always funny. Like he obviously sees it on Facebook, and he'll be like, "Oh, that gig, I'm not doing anything that weekend. Do you want to play it?" Yeah, okay, I'll play it. Like I have to drag him there. But he's already got his harps in the car. Classic harp player.
Yeah, ready for anything.
They're ready for anything, yeah. Every gig there's that guy. Yeah, I've got my harps in the car.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I found they'll always have one. They'll be like, I've got a C harp. I'm like, no, I don't play anything in that kit.
Yeah, that's
sorry, mate.
That's a great. I need to use that. What do you do when there's that drunk chick that wants the tambourine? That's the one you got to shut down.
See, this is the stuff I don't miss.
Yeah.
I really about touring. I look back on that and I think, I can't. And my tolerance for drunk people since I've stopped has diminished significantly. Like if I'm in the city on a Friday or Saturday night, I can't deal with drunk people the way that I used to be able to, which is an interesting side effect, I think, of spending the kind of time that musicians spend in pubs and clubs. You kind of become a bit desensitized to stupid behaviour. Yeah,
it becomes normal, doesn't it? And I feel for the bar people, you know, because they're there 10 hours a day. We're there for 3 or 4 hours. It's like, but they've got to deal with that shit 5 times a week.
Yeah, and the same people usually.
The same idiots doing the same stupid shit. It's like, I banned you last week. Yeah, but like I'm back. It's all right, eh? Yeah. I'm here with my mates. Ask them. I'm a good bloke. It's like, if I have to ask your mates whether you're a good bloke, there's a huge chance that you're not. And you're going to get pissy and make a fuckwit out of yourself. Yeah. Yeah. No, I feel for those people. But yeah, you're right. That's one of the things that, you wouldn't miss, sure.
It's, sort of a weird reality. Yeah. And I can't understand that lifestyle as well. Like people who do that. But then, horses for courses, I guess. But
yeah. I think too, a lot of them just live for the weekend. Yeah. They work high stress jobs or, their personal lives or whatever, and then they get to Friday and it's like, let's let off steam. Yeah. And I mean, we've built a career from playing to those people, so it's totally valid, but it's like we see the worst of it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, you can. Great. Open to the floor. Yeah. Any other business?
Nick. If you were to replace the current load, what would the perfect tour van?
That's true. That's a good question.
Money no object.
Money no object.
What would the perfect tour van look like?
What would be your perfect tour?
A low roof, so under 2.1 meters.
Okay, that's very specific.
It is very specific because in the car park at the airport, you can't park any higher if it's any higher. City parking's a real bitch. So 2.1 max height. I'd say long wheelbase, which you can't get a low roof long wheelbase van. They just don't do it. crew seat in the back. I've thought about this a bit.
Yeah.
So we can have comfort. In the current van, the seats aren't that comfy in the back. Cage to stop shit flying through, and enough room for a double bass, a small PA if we need it, and all our gear. So I would say, that's what I want. A hearse, pretty much a hearse. Really good. Yeah, because then you could like put the coffin in and sleep in it. People do that.
That's true. That's weird, but
whatever
works. Yeah. But that's a good point. That the double bass, and we've got one towering over us right now in the room. Obviously poses its own logistical issues, and I myself have gotten trapped in the back of a station wagon, stuck between a locked door and a double bass.
Yes. Yeah.
How do you find that goes?
We can't, when we land anywhere, we can't get anything less than a Kia Carnival or an iLoad or something similar, or an IMAX, to have a climax in the IMAX. But we got to Cairns the other day and it was pelting down with rain, and they didn't have the car we needed.
Right.
So we had to actually get 2 cars from the airport, because it took up a whole 4-wheel drive, that car, that thing. It's 2 metres by a metre and a half, really. We just need to make sure we've got that sort of size vehicle.
Yeah.
Once we hit the ground.
It's funny with hire car companies is they'll upgrade you in inverted commas.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, there's a reason why we got the other car in the first place.
That's right.
Well, but we've upgraded you to a Mustang.
Yeah.
Like, that's cool, but
can't cap it to the roof.
Yeah.
We could try.
Yeah. I don't think you get your your insurance deposit back.
No way.
Hey, Kane, that brings us to the lightning round.
Yes.
There's a lightning round I didn't warn you about.
Yeah.
We're going to play a little game of Would You Rather.
Okay. Oh, this is one of the games we play in the van.
Yeah.
We cannot repeat what we ask on this day. There's no way.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah. No, it'd be like if it's saw it on the iTunes podcast, it'd be explicit. Don't let anyone listen to it.
Yeah.
Big X.
Okay.
Actually, I wouldn't put it up.
All right. Well,
I like this.
These will be PG. The questions will be PG. But your answers are not. I don't know. So I'm going to ask you 5 Would You Rather questions.
Done.
And look, we're going rapid fire, but you can stop the clock whenever you like. Firstly, would you rather be the driver or a passenger?
Passenger, because it allows me to have 12 beers. Do I have to justify my answer?
No, you don't have to. You don't have to justify anything to me. You don't have to prove anything.
You don't own me.
Why 12 specifically?
Well, half a dozen. It's a good number. That's my like any more, you're not gonna be able to see, let alone play.
No, yeah.
Any less, maybe it's not party time.
Okay.
Maybe it's just warm up time.
Enough for a buzz.
Yeah, enough for a buzz.
Would you rather run out of fuel or get 3 flat tires?
3 flat tires. Or run out of fuel. Because if you're in the middle of the Nullarbor, where the hell and how much is it going to cost if you need 3 tires? Yeah.
Would you rather pay $4 a litre for that fuel?
Yeah.
Or have to fill up every 100 Ks?
$4 a litre.
Yep.
I'd just get one of the boys' credit cards and max it.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Good technique. I love it. That's another benefit to touring with a band.
Yeah.
Would you rather have no windows or no heating and air conditioning?
No windows.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, big time.
Okay.
Do you mean like in the van or like in...
No, I'm talking about like there's holes.
Yes.
But there's no glass in them.
Oh.
Not like walls. Like the windows have been smashed out.
Oh. I'd say you could blast some heat to counteract it, I reckon.
Yeah.
We play pretty low down. We play in Threadbow during winter, so. Oh. Next question.
Okay, final question. Final question. Would you rather have the stereo stuck on a foreign language community radio station?
Nice.
Or an early mix of your first album?
Oh. Well, the early mix makes me vomit in my own mouth. Would I be young enough to learn a new language by just listening to it? I don't know. Yeah, I'd go with that. And then try and work it out. What foreign language?
Azerbaijani.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty fluent in that, so I'd listen to that. That'd be fine. I'd catch up with the Azerbaijani Pajami news. It'd be fine. Adani.
Fantastic. Kane Dennelly, thank you so much for taking the time today to chat. And thank you everyone for listening, and we'll catch you next time on Dorothy Darling Bus.
You.
Well, that's the show. If you love Doris You Darling Bus, the podcast, and you love a hashtag, why not follow us on Instagram? Find us at Doris You Darling Bus, hit the follow button, and you'll see plenty of extra stuff, some behind-the-scenes photos and videos that you won't obviously see on the podcast, and of course all of those awesome tour buses and vans that everyone's been sending us in. Thanks for listening.